everybody, my name is Ruth Ann Lane, and if you're joining us today, we are talking about 5 books that build PBL culture in your elementary classroom. We are on Elementary Project-Based Learning, a collaborative group, if you want to join us. A little bit about me. My name is Ruth Ann Lane, and I am a veteran teacher. This video today is really exciting for me because not only am I certified in PBL, but I also have a license in reading. So this is kind of melding my two passions today. If you are watching the Read broadcast, everything that you see today, you can still have access to. So you'll have the link to the handout, which is in the description of this video. So if you click on that, it'll take you to a handout of all 5 of the books that I'm talking about today, along with some information. I've linked YouTube videos in case you can't find a hard copy of those books, as well as a link to a resource that I was able to find somewhere online for you too. So if you click on that link, it'll give you the 5 books, but I'm going to go ahead and explain why I chose those 5 books today for you. The first book that I'm going to talk to you about is I Wonder. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and comment in the comments below and tell us whether or not you do an I Wonder board, this book is my all-time favorite book for a PBL classroom. It is a great resource. I bought it on Amazon, and it is a great book about a little girl who goes on a walk with her mom, and they practice the language of I wonder. So the little girl talks with her mother about different things that she wonders about, and the mom talks with her about what a mystery is and different things. It's really a great book. The illustrations are gorgeous too. So if you look inside, the illustrations are really pretty too. So this is a great book, and I read this book with both 5th graders and 1st graders. It is a book that I think can go for all reading levels, even though it doesn't have a level on like AR or anything. It's a really great book to teach the concept of an I wonder and how to write an I wonder, and then to use that with your board. So this is number 1, I Wonder. If you want to, as you're watching this, if you want to write a concept that you think is foundational, that I maybe am not covering, or if you have a PBL that you're currently working on that you're having difficulty finding books for, if you comment below, I'll send you whatever resources I can possibly think of for you to use for that. Book number 2. I think it's really important when you are laying a foundation in a PBL classroom to empower your students, to let them know that kids can make a really big difference. Because I think right now, you know, sometimes students feel kind of powerless, and in feeling kind of powerless, it's good for them to be able to relate to real people. So this book that I am putting in for number 2 to help empower your students and to teach them a little bit about empathy, because I think that's a really important thing for PBL classroom too, is Malala's Magical Pencil. Now, if you don't know who Malala is, she is a real person. This is a book that she wrote, and it is a beautiful book about her journey to find her voice through her writing and through speaking up. It talks about some of the hardships that she had to face too, so you can kind of talk with students about, you know, how sometimes it's not easy to meet our goals. This book not only empowers students and talks about empathy, but it also is a really good book for talking about setting goals, because she has a goal of wanting to end poverty and to help make education accessible for all the students with her, and or all the students in the world. And so she works really hard in school to meet that goal. It's a great book, and I really recommend it. Number 3. So number 3 is not really a book so much as it's an author. I don't know if you've ever heard of Julia Cooke or not. If you have, give me a like, because I love Julia Cooke. I think she is one of the best authors, and almost everything she writes about is pertinent to the classroom, whether it's a PBL classroom or not. So I have so many of her books, but the 3 books that I think that are the best for PBL, her first one is called Thanks for the Feedback. I love this book. It's amazing. It talks about getting feedback from peers, getting feedback from teachers, and what you do with that feedback. We know that as PBL teachers, getting protocol or sitting through a protocol is something that's really important for students. Learning how to give feedback constructively to their peers, as well as how to receive feedback, because sometimes it's hard to hear things that are maybe not just positive, and this book talks about that a lot. So again, this is Thanks for the Feedback, and it's by Julia Cooke. Another one that she writes that I think is amazing is Teamwork Isn't My Thing, and Teamwork Isn't My Thing, and I Don't Like to Share. Now, I know that sounds like a book that would just be for primary kids, but it's actually a great book for upper grades too, and I highly recommend this one. She does a really great job of, she does a really good job of giving us information. I'm sorry, Leah, my light is right on your comment, so I'm refreshing my page, and I promise I will answer you in 2 seconds. The other one that I think is really great is The Technology Tale. This one is really great for teaching kids about how when you're on the computer, like, you're not just on the computer, like, you leave a trail wherever you go, and I think it's really powerful for students to see. So I highly recommend this one also, The Technology Tale, that she wrote. She's written so many other ones too. I've got a couple of her other ones here. The Bubblegum Brain, which is about growth mindset. If you are a primary teacher, this is the best book ever. It's called My Mouth is a Volcano. It's about teaching kids not to shout out. I love this book. It was a lifesaver every year. Also, if you're a primary teacher, A Bad Case of Tattle Tongue. Such a good book. I highly recommend anything by Julia Cooke. That handout that I told you about with the link in the description, it takes you directly to her store in Amazon, because she's written so many great books, and I highly recommend them. Leah, I'm so glad you're gonna grab one. Trust me, it is a game changer for you, so I'm so glad. Enjoy. Okay. Book number 4, which I guess technically is like number 7, but anyway, book number 4. This book, I love this book. It's called Douglas, You're a Genius. The main character, her name is Nancy, and she has a dog named Douglas. And in this book, she's playing, and a train goes, oh, I'm glad you like it too. A train goes through the fence, and the train disappears, and so she sends a message through trying to find out who's on the other side of the fence, and they send the train back, but in the train that they send back is a message in a different language. And so Nancy and Douglas are trying to figure out how to get over this huge fence to talk to the person on the other side of the fence, and it is great. This book is great for teaching about problem-solving skills, because in it, Nancy makes plans, and you get to see her plans, and they're really cool. Like, it does a really good job of talking about what to do when your plan fails, and then going back and trying a different way. But I also like it because it talks about perspectives and listening to your teammates, because Douglas, for a lot of the time, is trying to get Nancy to listen to him about his idea, and she doesn't want to listen. She wants to do her idea, and in the end, you find out that Douglas's idea is a really good idea, and then they end up meeting the people across the fence. So I highly recommend this one, Douglas, You're a Genius. Can I list the authors here? Yes, I can, but it is on that handout in the description too, the authors, as well as a link to the Amazon account to grab the book, and also resources and YouTube links for each of the videos or each of the books too, so that you can have the book read to your class if you can't find it. You don't, just because you click on it for Amazon to see what the cover is, that doesn't mean you have to buy it from Amazon. Go to your library. I actually got this copy of Douglas, You're a Genius from my local library. The Julia Cooke ones and the I Wonder are mine, but Malala's Magical Pencil came from the library too. So go to your library and see if you can have it sent even from another branch. Just check the cover out on that Amazon link so you can see what it looks like. All right, my fifth and final book is one of my favorite books. It's one that I've read with my fourth graders. I read it with my fifth graders. I read it with my first graders. They all love it. It is called Once Upon a Cool Motorcycle Dude. Now, you may have used this book for writing. It's actually a somewhat popular book for writing lessons because it talks about voice really well. But I also love this book because I think it talks about teamwork and conflict resolution really well. It is about a boy and a girl whose assignment it is to write a fairy tale. And so together they have to come up with a fairy tale with main characters. And you can see from the cover that they kind of have a different idea of what a fairy tale would look like. The illustrations even show differences. It's kind of written a little bit like a graphic novel, so in terms of illustrations, it's really nice because it keeps your kids kind of engaged because it's a different way to look at illustrations. And I really like it because they kind of give you voice boxes or voice bubbles to kind of talk about the perspectives of the kids, and those kids, their perspectives are very different in the way that they think that the book should go. And at the beginning, there's a lot of conflict between the two of them. But towards the end, they kind of combine together to make a story that they think is really a great fairy tale. And I really like this because I think it kind of talks about the journey that people go through as a team, and teamwork is so important in PBL. You know, when we talk about teams in adult leadership classes, they talk about that storming, forming, and norming, and how in a group, when you first start, you know, you get together and you're really excited together. So you're starting to form, and then, you know, you hit some bumps and you hit those storms together. And what do you do when you hit those storms? What are we going to do? How are we going to interact with one another? What are some of our conflict resolution strategies? And then hitting that norm so that we can get some productive work done. This book lends itself to those kinds of conversations really well because you see them go through pretty much the whole process. And I think that it's a really good one. So again, that's Once Upon a Cool Motorcycle Dude. And that is my fifth book. I am really excited that so many of you tuned in. Thank you so much. If you're watching the rebroadcast, make sure that you click on that link. Like I said earlier, if you want to comment below with the project that you're doing, because you might want some literature resources, I would be happy to give you at least 2 resources that I can think of the titles for if you'd like, or if there is a foundational skill that you want to teach your class this year to get them ready for PBL, please feel free to comment below also. If anyone has any questions, I could take questions now. I'll wait a couple seconds. Okay. I'll go ahead and let you, oh, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I love talking with different people. So I would really like to see you guys again in 2 weeks when we do the next one. I'll put a survey on elementary project-based learning group probably on Monday or Tuesday with a couple different topics that we can do next week. Okay guys, thanks.